Fresh from the showcase here at SwissWatchExpo, and Rolex shoppers out there, I'm sure you know how hard it is to find Daytonas nowadays. But what about Daytonas with rare minerals in the dial? Well, then that means you get yourself a truly rare piece, and that's what we've got today. What we have today is an absolute showstopper of a piece. Just through description alone, you should know we've got something special. This is a white gold Sodalite Dial Rolex Daytona. As we know, Rolex Daytona is probably the most sought after and hard to acquire of all the new Rolexes on the market today. And as such, there's not a ton of super rare, unique editions. Most of that's reserved for the more vintage stuff, the Paul Newmans that sell for six, 7 figures sometimes. This here, however, is a much more modern piece and definitely something Rolex did that's going to be a very unique, almost singular piece in the Daytona line. This is a Sodalite dial, which is a material that they have used in some other unique date-just models. It is a mineral that is mostly mined in Greenland, I've found, in case you were wondering what's going on in that big frozen island up there. They're mining a lot of this stuff, apparently. Super gorgeous color, if you're not familiar with it. Really light, sort of baby royal blue color. And to me, that's going to be pretty consistent in all pieces of Sodalite I've seen. But because this is a natural occurring material, no two dials are going to be the same. This one certainly looks very unique in the very few Sodalite pieces that I've been lucky enough to hold in my hands so far. So you'll get a lot of sort of pitting type colors, some dark spots, which I think are sort of the negative spaces or more where the hollow spaces sort of get smoothed out in the mineral from what I understand. But it's a beautiful light blue color, I think. And it works really well on a lot of ladies' watches, but it also looks really great on this Daytona. I think white gold is probably going to be the only real metal that I think this would look good on. This would be a pretty jarring combo if this were in rose or yellow. But if anyone has ever found a Daytona or any Rolex that has a Sodalite dial in those metals, go ahead and shoot us a picture or something, because I would love to see what this looks like, or to see if this can really be pulled off in other colors. But this here is definitely a gorgeous combination. This is a factory original, not only Sodalite, but diamond dial, which is, I think, really well done on a lot of Daytonas, particularly this one, where it still looks incredibly sporty. But you definitely got the little extra oomph of the elegance here with the factory diamond dial. You still keep the luminous markers on the dial at 15, 30, and 45. So I really like that they still, for all the unique dial material, the fact that it's white gold, the fact that it has diamonds, this still has that racing chronograph spirit. So it never really stops being a Daytona, no matter what they do to this dial. So the dial is obviously the most unique part of it, but it doesn't stop there, because this Rolex original crocodile strap is a completely different color than I've seen on any other watch in any other line of the Rolex line. This does come with a white gold deployant buckle, which I think is fantastic. A lot of people who aren't used to seeing Daytonas on factory straps, this one's a very well done one. And I love that the alligator strap does not match the color of the Sodalite. I don't even know if that would be possible, but I like that it is a much darker color blue, but it is still very shiny, almost glossy looking with this crocodile finish on here. And you do see the sort of scales on here that let you know you have an absolute top of the line reptile strap on this thing. And this is factory original and in fantastic condition. That goes for this entire watch, but most of all the straps, because we all know those are the first things that wear out. So this one's got as much life as you could really want, because I imagine this is not going to be an everyday watch for whatever proud person does end up becoming the owner of it. I do think, however, this is an attention grabber piece, and definitely a sign that you are a serious collector if you've got your hands on this, because you don't have to know much about Daytonas to know this is a very, very rare example of those Daytonas. Of course, if you are just looking to find a Daytona and you maybe don't need to have one quite at this ticket price, well, guess what? We've got Daytonas. That's right. You've called your AD. You haven't found them. We've got the more traditional Daytonas, including the ceramics, white, black, the ones you've been trying to get your hands on for years, as well as dozens and dozens of other types of Rolex sport models across the line. If you haven't been checking out our site and you've just been watching our videos, I'm very flattered, but you really need to check out our inventory, because we have the Rolexes you need at SwissWatchExpo.com.